Another major issue during Jackson's presidency was the removal of Native Americans. So Andrew Jackson was a huge supporter and committed to westward expansion. The problem was there were over 125,000 Native Americans that occupied these lands east of the Mississippi. And throughout our early American history, the policy towards Native Americans had kind of varied. Washington, for example, had reorganized tribes as kind of separate nations and kind of allowed them to rule themselves and only took their land through formal treaties with the Native Americans. Some Americans respected the natives and wanted to assimilate them into white society. There had been many missionary efforts over the decades to try to convert Native Americans to Christianity. Some Native Americans actually worked with the United States government. The Cherokee of Georgia tried to assimilate, and missionaries opened schools there and created a new legal code and a new government kind of modeled after the United States government. And that's kind of where we were when Jackson took over as president. And Jackson proposed moving the Native Americans west of the Mississippi, pushing them further west. And this was supposed to be a voluntary act. And ultimately, over 100,000 Native Americans were forced west under his Indian Removal Act. Most of them were from the so-called 5 civilized tribes, which included the Cherokee, the Creeks, the Choctaws, the Chickasaws, and the Seminoles. And even though it was supposed to be voluntary, many were actually forced westward, and many died in these forced migrations, part of which was the Trail of Tears, which forced Cherokee, especially those in Georgia, further westward. And there was also some resistance. The Sauk and Fox nations from Wisconsin and Illinois, led by Black Hawk, resisted, and federal troops had to be sent in, led by Captain Abraham Lincoln of Illinois, to put down these uprisings. The Seminoles in Florida tried to resist westward migration and retreated into the Everglades and used a lot of guerrilla warfare tactics against the United States. And the war kind of dragged on, but eventually they too were forced westward to Oklahoma.